The sun filtered through the Bodhi tree, casting dappled shadows upon the earth. The disciples gathered in quiet anticipation. Buddha gazed upon them with serene eyes, his presence filling the space with warmth. A gentle breeze carried the scent of blossoms. "You have journeyed far," Buddha spoke, voice steady as flowing water. "The path before you is one of unity and mindfulness." A disciple raised his hand hesitantly, eyes reflecting uncertainty. "Master, how can we work together without losing ourselves in the group?" Buddha smiled, hands resting upon his lap. "Consider the river that welcomes every stream. It does not reject, it only flows forward. The river does not lose its essence," he continued. "Instead, it grows, strengthened by the waters that join its journey." Another disciple spoke, voice trembling slightly. "What if discord arises? What if a voice is lost in the noise of many?" Buddha closed his eyes briefly, then opened them. "In stillness, we discover harmony. The first step toward unity is deep listening. Do not listen to reply," he instructed. "Listen to understand. In true listening, divisions dissolve, leaving space for growth." The group sat in reflective silence, absorbing his words. The wind stirred the leaves above them, whispering the lesson further. Buddha noticed two disciples exchanging tense glances, their energy unsettled. He extended his hand toward them. "What troubles your hearts?" One disciple exhaled sharply. "We disagree about the path forward. Each believes his way is best, and neither will yield." Buddha picked up a handful of rice grains, letting them fall from his palm. "Scattered, they hold no strength. United, they nourish." "Conflict arises when we forget our shared purpose," he continued. "True collaboration is not competition, but the weaving of many strands." Another disciple furrowed his brows. "Master, what if one among us refuses to collaborate? How do we guide them?" Buddha reached for a small pebble, rolling it between his fingers. A hard seed softens when placed in water over time. "Do not force, do not demand," he advised. "Guide with patience. The most resistant heart may yet learn through gentle persistence." A golden bird landed nearby, pecking at scattered grains. Buddha watched it with a knowing smile. Every being seeks sustenance, even in uncertainty. "The purpose of a team is not perfection," he continued. "It is the conscious movement toward a shared vision through mindful effort." One disciple bowed his head. "Master, we fear failure. We fear that our efforts will crumble like dry leaves beneath the wind." Buddha placed his hand upon the earth. Even the tallest tree began as a fragile seed. "Fear not failure, fear stagnation. Growth comes from movement," he reminded them. "Even mistakes carry wisdom when approached with awareness and humility." A child wandered into the clearing, eyes wide with wonder. The disciples turned to see the innocence reflected in her face. She knelt before Buddha, hands pressed in reverence. "My mother says wisdom is like the sun. Is it true?" Buddha chuckled softly, nodding. "Wisdom, like light, spreads without depletion. Shared freely, it illuminates the hearts of many." The disciples exchanged glances, realization dawning upon them. Their task was not just to work together, but to uplift one another. Buddha gestured toward the sky, where clouds drifted without resistance. "Collaboration is like the wind, gentle yet powerful, unseen yet essential. The key," he concluded, "is to move with awareness, honoring the presence of each individual while serving the collective whole." A sense of peace settled upon the disciples. They had come seeking answers, and found within them the seeds of understanding. As the sun dipped lower, Buddha rose, his robes rustling. "You have received the teaching. Carry it forward with open hearts." The disciples bowed deeply, gratitude shimmering in their eyes. They knew their journey together was only beginning. Thus, the lesson of mindful collaboration was planted within their souls, ready to blossom in the world beyond the grove. Another day, Another lesson beneath the Bodhi tree. The disciples gathered, hands folded, awaiting the words of the enlightened one. Buddha observed them, his gaze calm like the surface of a still pond. He saw their eagerness, their silent questions. "You have walked together," Buddha began, voice rich with wisdom. "Yet unity is fragile without patience, without trust." A disciple shifted, hesitating before speaking. "Master, we struggle when working together. Some insist on their way, dismissing others." Buddha picked up a leaf, tracing its veins. "Every path converges like these lines, leading toward the same whole. The mistake," Buddha continued, "is believing one vision alone must prevail. Collaboration flourishes when each voice is honored." Another disciple frowned. "But some resist, they hold tightly to their thoughts and refuse to yield. What should we do?" Buddha placed the leaf upon his palm. "The strongest hand is not one that pushes. It is one that lifts. Guide gently," he advised. "Show patience. Water shapes stone, not by force, but by steady persistence." The disciples exchanged glances, absorbing his words. The morning air hummed with the scent of blooming jasmine. Buddha turned to a mound of rice stacked neatly in a bowl. "A single grain is weak, but together they nourish. Each effort, however small, strengthens the whole," he said. "No hand alone builds a home. Many hands create shelter." A dispute arose nearby between two monks over the construction of a meditation hall. Their voices carried frustration. Buddha raised his hand, silencing the tension. "Why do you argue when your goal is the same?" One monk huffed. "He dismisses my ideas without listening. How can we collaborate if we do not respect one another?" Buddha gestured toward the trees surrounding them. "Do the roots fight the branches? Or do they grow together, supporting life? A team must be like the great tree," he explained, "connected by purpose, strengthened by its many parts." The monks listened, shame softening their expressions. The energy of discord faded into understanding. Buddha stood, stepping toward the unfinished structure. True creation arises when hands work together, not against one another. One disciple whispered, "Master, we fear failure. What if our efforts crumble despite our unity?" Buddha turned his gaze upon the sky, watching a flock of birds soar. Even the smallest bird trusts the wind beneath it. "Failure is not the end," he continued. "It is merely a step toward wisdom. To walk the path, one must stumble." A gentle breeze stirred, rustling the leaves. The disciples felt a quiet shift in their hearts. Buddha knelt, pressing his fingers into the earth. The tallest tree began as a fragile seed. "Do not fear beginnings. The goal is not perfection," he reminded them. "It is movement, awareness, and harmony in effort." The disciples bowed their heads, humbled by his words. The lesson settled within them, shaping their understanding. As the sun rose higher, Buddha placed his hands together. "You have received the teaching. Walk forward with patience and trust." The disciples stood, ready to apply his wisdom, carrying his words within their hearts. Thus, the second lesson was planted, to grow with time, strengthened by hands willing to uplift rather than divide. Another day, another lesson beneath the Bodhi tree. The disciples gathered, eyes filled with questions, hearts open to wisdom. Buddha watched them in silence, sensing their thoughts. The air carried the scent of fresh earth after morning rains. "You have built together," Buddha began, his voice a steady river. "Yet, without purpose, even the strongest structure crumbles." A disciple bowed slightly, hesitation in his tone. "Master, how do we align our purpose when doubt clouds the mind?" Buddha picked up a small stone, tracing its smooth surface. "Even the mightiest mountain crumbles when its foundation weakens. Purpose is not in the stone," he continued. "It is in the hands that shape it, in the intent behind the act." Another disciple furrowed his brows. But what if that intent shifts? What if one loses sight of their path? Buddha placed the stone upon the ground. A traveler lost in darkness does not blame the night. They seek the light. A team must hold a shared vision, he said. Each step taken without purpose leads nowhere. The disciples absorbed his words. Silent in thought, the sound of chirping birds filled the space between them. Buddha turned his gaze toward the shelter they had built. Why did you construct this refuge? A disciple answered quickly. To serve those in need. To provide shelter and rest, Buddha nodded. When service drives action, harmony follows. But when personal gain clouds intent, division begins. Another disciple hesitated. Master, what if fear prevents action? What if uncertainty weakens our steps? Buddha smiled gently, watching the wind stir the leaves. The Bodhi tree stood as a sapling, uncertain of its height. Growth does not come from certainty, he explained. It comes from trust, in oneself, in the path, in the collective effort. A lone traveler approached, weary from his journey. He gazed at the shelter, relief softening his face. He bowed deeply. This place has saved me. I thank you for your kindness. The disciples exchanged glances, realization settling in their hearts. Their efforts had served beyond themselves. Buddha watched them, his eyes gleaming with understanding. True collaboration serves something greater than the individual. The highest purpose is compassion, he continued. When all acts stem from kindness, unity remains unshaken. The sun dipped lower, casting golden light upon the grove. The lesson had taken root in their spirits. Buddha rose, his robes rustling softly. You have received the teaching. Carry it forward with open hearts and steady hands. The disciples bowed deeply, carrying his wisdom into the world beyond the grove. Thus, the final lesson was planted, to guide them in every step, in every act, in every breath of service. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.